when it comes to politics, especially in today's heated political climate, Christians need to be very careful about how far they go in terms of their involvement. The Bible is pretty clear on this, very clear on this. It says in the book of Proverbs that the heart of the king is like a stream of water in the hand of the Lord. He moves it wherever he wills. And so whoever's in office, it's because God put them there. It doesn't mean that we don't play a part, but we just have to be really careful and really biblical about what that part looks like. So, in the Bible, when tax collectors come to Jesus to pay taxes, he literally pulls a coin out of a fish's mouth, flips it to him, and says, "Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's," talking to his disciples. And then he just moved on with his ministry and kept talking to his disciples about all the, Christian things. And so that's literally how involved he got. And then he moved on. Paul, when he writes the book of Philemon, Philemon was a slave owner who was converted and had a slave named Onesimus, or Decimus, one of the two. And he tells Philemon, he says, look, like, now that you're a Christian, you need to treat your slave like a brother, not like a slave. And so you need to, do this with him, do that with him. And so he's explaining to a fellow brother in Christ how to treat Onesimus. And so it basically became like an employer-employee relationship between the two. But what he didn't do was try to overthrow the whole system. He didn't try to overthrow, slavery altogether. He knew that was not his course. That was not his lot. And as a Christian, the only way to change people's minds about anything political is they have to get saved first, because they're blind. They got a terribly evil heart. And so you're never going to change anybody's mind on issues like abortion until they get saved. And so the objective of the church and the Christians within the church is to first and foremost and absolute prioritize Jesus. That's it. So, for people who spend all this time, especially on the conservative side, trying to change this, and what if this happens, and I can't believe they're doing this and that, and abortion and everything else, like those issues are important, but they're never going to go anywhere until people get saved. So if Christians put the amount of effort into just evangelizing their neighbors and loving their neighbors as they do, ranting and rambling on Facebook posts, things are going to go a lot better for, whatever their political agenda is. And so, God does raise up people throughout history and even biblically, a handful who were very much political activists. Joseph, for example, in the Old Testament, God raised up through very difficult circumstances to become one of the chief leaders in Egypt, and he started to make calls that were otherwise auspicious for the Israelites at the time. William Wilberforce, another good example in England in the 19th century. He's the reason that we have I can't remember the name of the organization is, but he ended animal cruelty and animal slavery. Abe Lincoln comes along, ends slavery. But these are kind of scattered, very isolated, very specific people that he's pulled up through history. And so if people are honest with themselves, they got to ask themselves, why am I really just typing away about this thing, and just going on this diatribe to other people about abortion or about this whatever the political platform is? Why? People need to ask themselves, why am I really doing this? Is it for my own pride in winning an argument, or is it because I really care that deeply about the issue? Because when people care that deeply about an issue, they're going to do something about it. They're not just going to, typing away on Facebook's easy, or getting into an argument with somebody on the street is easy. Trying to promote actual change is hard. But the only way that anything politically is going to change is through heart changes. And historically, America's in trouble, and I don't know that it's going to all of a sudden take this stark incline in terms of its moral compass. But in the meantime, all these issues that people are fighting about, they're not going to be won through the White House, no matter who's in office. They're going to be won through God's house. So that would be my advice is, just be very careful about how involved you get. And the purpose of evangelism and following the Lord is to win the man, not the argument. So people just need to ask themselves that, why am I really engaging in this? And why am I not engaging in evangelism as much? Because that's where the real change comes, is through individual heart change.